taking a minute. Okay.
Every time I'm sitting in this room, I think the next time is going to be in the building, and every time.
So we're back here again.
Yes.
Nice and familiar. Okay, we're good.
Okay, so call the meeting to order at 1:01 p.m. December 3rd. Can I have a mover to approve the agenda? Alyssa, second, and Owen. All in favor? Carried unanimous. To adoption of the minutes that were held on to July 16th, 2024. Can I have a mover? Alyssa, seconder, Owen, all in favor? Approved, unanimous. Thank you, everybody. I don't see any public in the gallery, so I'm assuming no public comments. So we'll move right into item for delegations, 4.1, Davies Orchard Heritage Inspection, and Chelsea Nunn from Lexington and Associates. Hi, Chelsea. Hi again.
Hello, how are you all doing today? Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Ready to go?
See it yet.
Okay, so here, I'll try sharing screen.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
We've just moved, well, we've moved offices and things are still a little in boxes, which is why everything's blurred behind me. So you don't see the disaster.
An amazing aerial photo, by the way.
The photos, I can get lost in art. I think we all can. We just start looking at archives and all of a sudden 3 hours have passed by and we're like, we were only supposed to look for one thing. But no, the photos are always beautiful additions to reports, and especially to our understanding of what was done, when it was done. Of course, sometimes that helps with dating construction periods and additions and things like that. So we're always really pleased when we have a good collection of them to work with. So hello everyone again. Thank you for having me at today's Heritage Commission meeting, where I'll be presenting Don Luxon's report regarding the Crippen cottages. So Don Luxon was engaged by Bowen Island Municipality through concerns raised by the public as well as the Commission over the work that was being undertaken to the cottages that are located in historic Davies Orchard, that is within the Crippen Regional Park. The work on the cottages was the first phase of a multi-phase project being undertaken by Metro Vancouver at the site, with the scope of work proposed for the site evolving from a planning study that was completed in 2017. So the planning study itself, just to sort of take some steps backwards before we go forwards, was a multidisciplinary team that examined the site and the 10 existing structures. There was a component of public engagement with Bowen Island community and stakeholders, where they identified three objectives, or three high-level objectives: to improve public access, to celebrate the site and its history, and create opportunities for public and nature interactions. Of course, they did identify that the Crippen cottages were an important resource in achieving these objectives. So for some of the background side of things on how these cottages came about, of course, Bowen Island.
Yep. Sorry, one of our members was having difficulty hearing. I don't know if we could pump up the volume or.
No, it's muted. It's kind of quiet. Yeah.
Am I muted or no?
No, you're good. We're just adjusting the sound on our end.
Okay, because sometimes you guys are coming through a little broken up through the microphone.
Better?
Overall, I hope I'm not coming up that way on your end.
No, you're a little muffled at our end, but not broken up.
A bit quiet for me.
I don't think I can get any closer to the microphone. Hold on.
That's up.
It must have a volume though.
You want to move up closer?
It's the next speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at 100.
Oh,
This one.
I pulled my microphone closer, which makes my head bigger, so I do apologize for that.
That's-
is that what changes the volume for the system?
Yeah, it's a whole system. Better?
I think so.
Otherwise I would come and sit here because the speakers are right here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's try it again. Okay.
all right, we're good?
Yeah.
So as we all know, Bowen Island's land, waterways, and shorelines have been used for millennia by the Squamish people. The colonial settlement began in the late 19th century, and this included William Davis preempting 33 acres of District Lot 77, which you can see on the screen here, on which he constructed a house and established an apple and tenderfruit orchard. His family would go on to construct a general store, post office, as well as camps for traveling visitors. The property was sold in 1920 to Frank Dobson, who in turn sold it 2 years later to the Union Steamship Company, who had begun servicing the island in 1900. The Union Steamship Company had established their resort around Deep Bay with a lodge, orchard, farm, bungalows, picnic area, and athletic facilities. And although this map, or this rendering, which is from 1925, is partially cut off or perhaps incomplete, this is a good idea, or this is a good tool to know that, at least from what appears on the map, the cottages around Snug Cove had yet to be constructed at that time. So in this image from 1927, we can see that their cottages are either underway or completed, that were being built, the 20 of them, on the former Davies Orchard. These cottages comprise nearly 200 cottages and bungalows used by visitors traveling to Bowen Island from the Lower Mainland, as well as places along the coast. The resort operated until after the Second World War and was acquired by Metro Vancouver Regional Parks in 1983, forming part of Crippen Regional Park. The landscape and cottages provide a tangible link to Bowen Island's past, which is why they are so important. The SOS, which was previously written, clearly details the site's heritage values for its connection with early settlement in BC and Bowen Island, for its connection with Davies' family, and the landscape and cottages also serve as a physical connection to the nature and culture of tourism in the pre-1950 period. The SOS also outlines those character-defining elements which are critical to understanding the heritage value of a site or structure. In this case, the CDs include both site features, such as the trees and the landscape and the sloping, gentle sloping descending down to Lady Alexandra Promenade, as well as the cottages themselves, with the character-defining elements of the cottages being their form, scale, and massing, their construction, their fenestration, their exterior siding, and their front verandas, to name a few, as well as some interior elements. The approach taken to develop this report included a review of documents provided. These documents included permit drawings, specifications, architectural field reviews, correspondences, the planning study that was completed in 2017, Council and Heritage Commission meeting minutes, photographs, as well as archival research. A site visit was also completed where a visual review of accessible areas of the exterior and interior of 5 cottages was carried out. Considerable work had already been done by the time the site visit had been conducted. I believe the percentage identified by Metro Vancouver was 75% of the work had been done before we had shown up on site. So understanding the condition of the CDEs and the proposed level of interventions to them was somewhat hampered because of the work that had already been completed. Therefore, the existing planning report and photos were relied upon to understand the condition of the cottages prior to work starting, recognizing that that report was completed in 2017, and thereby to understand some of the interventions that were proposed to them. So in addition to, once our team had an understanding of the interventions, as well as the condition of the cottages, they were then considered against the standards and guidelines, which of course, that process of understanding any work being done to a heritage landscape or site involves both the understanding, the planning, all being completed prior to the intervening, which would be the actual work that's undertaken on site. So the interventions, So through the review of the planning report and available photographs, it was evident that the condition of the cottages varied. Therefore, this was possibly due to past conservation work that was undertaken, how the buildings were used, perhaps their original construction, past interventions that were done to them, as well as potentially deferred maintenance. Therefore, the extent and nature of the interventions to each cottage would vary. The work undertaken was expected to include interventions of both preservation, rehabilitation, and restoration, which of course they're presented, the definitions for those are presented on the screen. And the nature of the interventions taken to the cottages included work such as temporary removal of elements to be able to complete work, roof replacement, fenestrations, some structural rehabilitation, repair and rehabilitation of verandas, repair and or replacement of deteriorated wood elements, rehabilitation of the paint finishes, and rehabilitation of interiors and accessibility improvements, to name a few. The interventions presented on the permit drawings and work completed during the site visit were considered through those standards found in Parks Canada's standards and guidelines. So as mentioned, to understand sort of what the state was at the beginning and then what it was at the end, or when I reviewed it at 75% roughly, these were some of the photographs that were included within the 2017 report, which were used to sort of guide my understanding as to the condition of the properties or the buildings prior to the start of work. The photographs were not comprehensive in getting all aspects of the building, but that's what I had to work with at the time. So this is cottage 18, which is included in the report. These are the photographs from the exterior and interior at the start, or in 2017, pardon me. These are photographs that were taken by my colleague when we visited the site, showing the extent of work that had been undertaken for cottage 18. At the time, they were painting the front porch still, and they were also working on the interior work was still to be completed at that time. So that information was compiled into a table which looked at the character defining elements, their condition based off of the report, the conservation approach based on my understanding of the permit drawings, as well as what I could see on site, the actual interventions as noted in the building permit drawings that were provided, as well as additional comments. And this is the process that I went
Oh, you just cut out Chelsea.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now? Are we good?
There's no sound coming from you, Chelsea.
Oh,
Let's try
hold
this.
on.
Yeah, you know what?
Am I muted somehow? I don't think I'm muted.
I think all I have to do is shut down and restart Zoom. This is the third time in the last week that this has happened. And we actually have the tech guys here today trying to fix it. So let me just do that. I don't know what that's.
Tell Chelsea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Chelsea,
I-
can you hear me?
Chat, Chelsea.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So, mm.
Okay.